Kullu tragedy where 5 students lost their lives while 19 continue to be missing after strong currents of River Beas washed them away in Himachal. Now, the residents in the area allege that there might be an illegal sand mining link to the tragedy. Times Now investigation has revealed that special tracks have been created for lifting of sand near the dam, and the floodgates on the fateful day may have been opened to facilitate the flushing out of the silt. Well, we're getting a lot of reactions, and here's a report, first of all, by our reporter Shamsher.
This is the exact spot where the students of Vienna College, Hyderabad, were here at on the evening of Sunday when this tragic incident occurred in which 24 students were washed away. In fact, the students were there on such boulders, these rocks, here when the water was released from the Largi hydropower project. When all of a sudden the water level rose and all of them got washed away. In fact, why this happened? This is supposed to be a no-go zone. Nobody could have access to the river banks. Nobody could have come here, and we've been told that all of the students were there in the middle of the river in rocks like these. Today the water level is high. That is why these rocks are not visible. But students, the survivors, the remainder of the group, they told us that they were somewhere in the middle of the river. But how did they manage to come right in the middle of the river when this is supposed to be a no-go zone? Let me show you that this access, this has been made recently by the local sand mining mafia. If you can see, I'll tell my camera person Yash to show you the sand around here. This sand is illegally mined and then taken close to the highway, at the edge of the highway, where there are piles of this sand, and they are illegally sold in the market. In fact, there is a very clear angle of the sand mining mafia to this entire tragedy. The district administration as well as the ministers, the chief minister, they do admit that this is supposed to be a no-go zone. Nobody is supposed to be near this place. But this access that I'm showing where I am right now, one can see the marks of the tires. The heavy vehicles come here, the tractor trailers as well as the trucks. They come here during the night and sand is mined here. And the locals also tell us that even the dam authorities who release water are also in connivance with the local sand mining mafia. They release the water, excess water, without giving any warning, so that the silt that is there in the dam also comes along with the water, and the next day the same silt, the same sand is mined and is taken out.
तो आज जो है रेत मंत्रियों ने आज ऐसा कर दिया है कि जगह जगह पे रोड निकाल दी है। ना तो पीडब्ल्यूडी विभाग इस पे ये करता है, ना बिजली बोर्ड। नेशनल हाईवे के सामने जो है वहाँ पे ये खनन होता जा रहा है, तो इसके ऊपर कोई भी सुनवाई नहीं कर रहा है। तो इनकी वजह से अगर आज रोड ना होता तो आज ये हादसा ना होता। इसके साथ ये संबंध है कि जो ऐसे कि आज तक पानी कम छोड़ा जाता था, जितना इस गति से छोड़ा तो आज तक इतना नहीं छोड़ते थे, लेकिन ना कोई सायरन बजाया गया, ना तो कोई भी आज तक मतलब ये नहीं हुआ। हम वहाँ पे मौजूद थे, ये कहते हैं कि हमने सायरन बजाया, ये ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं था, ना कोई सायरन दिया, ना कोई कुछ नहीं।
ऐसा है जी, जहाँ पे हादसा हुआ ना, यहाँ पे एक प्रोजेक्ट की डंपिंग साइट थी और यहाँ इतनी गहराई में वो जगह थी जो ये रोड बना दिया है खनन वालों ने। ना रोड बनता ना हादसा होता। यहाँ एक डंपिंग साइट थी, अपना स्टोर थे कंपनी के, यहाँ पर आदमी भी नहीं जा सकता पैदल। अब बिजली बोर्ड का दफ्तर है सामने, उसके सामने से रोड बना दिया है। ना रोड होता ना हादसा होता।
Shamsher joining us. Shamsher, first of all, there is this allegation that the flood gates were open, the water level was released without any prior warning. But what you are reporting is interesting, that the water was released at a time so that the sand level goes up and illegal mining can be carried out.
Well, that's what the locals allege. In fact, they say that this illegal sand mining has been quite rampant there at the riverbed and the banks of the river, whereas it is completely illegal. And there are several kacha tracks that lead to the banks of the river, which otherwise is about 100 to 250 feet below the national highway. Remember, this Beas River runs along the national highway. For too many kilometers, for about 100 kilometers, it runs along the national highway. And between Mandi and the place where I am at the moment and where the incident took place, I saw at least 3 or 4 places where such kacha tracks, mud tracks have been made from the national highway to approach the river banks, all for mining sands. In fact, that is illegal there, and it is a completely no-go zone. In fact, the ministers, the district administration authorities do tell us that nobody is supposed to go there, but all this is happening along the highway, clearly visible. There are piles of sand which are visible from the highway when anyone goes, and I'm sure a lot of ministers travel on this highway. The district administration officials, high officials travel along the road, and this is unbelievable that they would not have noticed it. It is just that all this has been conveniently ignored, and the locals tell us that in one of the sound bites we can hear the locals saying that had this track not been there was no other way for the students to go to the river bank and where they were. This is clearly not a spot for tourists, and
Right.
this place where these students had gone was just a couple of kilometers downstream from the project where the water is released. And the second allegation is that the dam authorities who release water are also in connivance with the sand mafia, so that when they release water, it also brings along with it a lot of silt, and the next day when water level goes down in the river, that sand is mined. Now these are the allegations which the locals are saying, which the locals are alleging, and this could be a possible angle to this extremely tragic incident that took place on Sunday evening.
A shocking nexus coming out at this moment, as Shamsher is pointing out, between the authorities and the sand mining mafia. What the locals are alleging at this point of time, that the water is released so that the sand level goes up. So, Shamsher, we're going to come back to you for this story, but let's also take a look at some of the reactions you're getting of the parents who have been in Kullu for the last 36 hours. Remember, 19 students are still missing after that tragic incident in Kullu.
Progress. But we still 48 hours already passed, but there is no response. There is no visible to dead bodies also. Only 5 bodies are sent to AP government. But here we are staying here from yesterday, but still now there is no progress. How can we stay here? How much time will we take here? In our houses, our parents, our family members, already they are roaring, but how can we answer them?
कॉलेज वाला है वो इंडस्ट्रियल टूर बोल के इधर जॉय ट्रिप्स लेके आए, लेकिन वो हुआ ठीक है, वो छोड़ दे। इधर का अभी हम लोग देख रहे हैं तो अभी 36 आवर्स हो गया, कुछ भी ट्रेसिंग नहीं हो रहा। सुबह में जो बोला मीटिंग हुआ, सब हुआ, होने के बाद डिफेंस आ रहा है और वो TVTN आ रहा है, आया एग्जैक्टली आया, जो 200-300 मेंबर्स आया, वो रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस उधर पीछे में किया, लेकिन अभी कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा है। अभी 4:30 हो रहा है, 4:30 के बाद 1.5 आवर के बाद बोलेगा फिर 6 o'clock हो गया, अंधेरा में हम कुछ नहीं कर पा सकते बोल के फिर अभी नेक्स्ट डे पे पोस्टपोन।
Shamsher is still with us. Shamsher, we've been discussing about the alleged sand mining mafia linked to the entire tragedy, but also give us a status update on the rescue operations on the ground.
Well, as explained to us by NDRF officials and other officials, it was expected to slow down. In fact, yesterday 4 bodies were recovered. This morning only 1 could be recovered. And since then, the rescue teams are there down in the river, scanning for possible spots where those dead bodies could be. In fact, but very limited success, meeting the team meeting with this morning. In fact, just 1 dead body was recovered. But at the same time, the parents who are here to, get their children back, in fact, they now realize that their hopes of finding the children alive are, and they are shattered. But they are waiting for the dead bodies, and they are also getting impatient here. They little while ago they just addressed a press conference. They appealed to the rescue teams, to the state government to speed up the process, whereas there are limitations. The Deputy Commissioner of Mandi explained earlier in the day the limitations that are there. The parents obviously want to see their children, whatever situation they are, whether dead or alive, as soon as possible. But that clearly not happening here. So they are getting exasperated, losing their patience here, and some of them issued frantic appeals to the administration to speed up the process so that they can at least see their children in whatever situation they are, dead or alive. But at the same time, there are about 100 ITBP men, 100 NDRF teams. There are divers of the Indian Army, there are locals, the policemen, all joining in for this rescue effort. But very limited success there for all these teams, just because it is a 15 kilometers river stretch, and some parts of the river are very, very treacherous. There are big boulders there, and the flow of the water also increases, especially post noon when the melting of snow, is at its highest. So all these challenges are there before them. Today we know that there were the water level in the reservoir was also brought down by 4 feet, but still very limited success, for the team that is looking for the bodies in this reservoir in the river.
Well, Shamsher, thanks for joining us with all those updates from the ground.